Good morning. It's Pastor Cindy. How are you doing today? I hope you had a good night's sleep. I hope you're having a great morning, and I'm so glad to be here with you together in this time for a little bit of stories. Yesterday, we told the Bible story of when Jesus went into Jerusalem and he rode on a donkey. And do you remember what the crowd said when they saw Jesus? They said, "Hosanna, Hosanna." And they picked up branches and they waved them. And some people waved their coats or blankets. And they made a loud noise while Jesus was walking in. They were cheering and saying, save us, Hosanna, Hosanna." Where are you in that story? Did you tell the story? Were you part of it too? Were you in the crowd cheering, or were you one of the disciples that went to go get the donkey for Jesus to ride? I made a person for me to be in the story so that when I could tell the story, you think that looks like me? So here was my person that I made out of a toilet paper roll so that person could be in the story too. That person could be in the story too. I hope that when you told the story that you were in it too, and that maybe you were one of the ones in the crowd cheering. I hope you'll help us tell the story on this Sunday when we have Palm Sunday in church and the church on the Facebook and on the website so that our grandparents and aunts and uncles and friends can see you waving palm branches. I hope that you'll do that too. Share a picture or a video of that. Wanted to share a story today of somebody that the crowds cheered for. And they thought that this person was somebody great and was going to do a great show and it was just going to be so exciting and thrilling. But the person who was being cheered for had another idea. I wonder if Jesus had another idea about what was going to happen in Jerusalem than what the crowds were thinking when they were thinking about Jesus coming into Jerusalem. So our story today about somebody being cheered for is Ferdinand. Do you know the story of Ferdinand? I love the story of Ferdinand, the bull. It is by Munro Leaf, and the pictures are by Robert Lawson. So let's read this story about somebody who was being cheered for. The story of Ferdinand. Once upon a time in Spain, there was a little bull, and his name was Ferdinand. All the other bulls he lived with would run and jump and butt their heads together. But not Ferdinand. He liked to sit just quietly and smell the flowers. He had a favorite spot in the pasture under a cork tree. It was his favorite tree, and he would sit in its shade all day and smell the flowers. He looks so peaceful, doesn't he, sitting under that cork tree? Sometimes his mother, who was a cow, would worry about him. She was afraid he would be lonesome all by himself. "Why don't you run and play with the other little bulls and skip and butt your head?" she would say. But Ferdinand would shake his head. "I just like it better here where I can sit quietly and smell the flowers." He does look very peaceful, doesn't he? Sitting there reading with the flowers. Yes, there he is, sitting with the flowers. Just smelling. His mother saw that he was not lonesome, and because she was an understanding mother, even though she was a cow, she let him just sit there and be happy. As the years went by, Ferdinand grew and grew until he was very big and strong. He did grow big. He doesn't look like a baby cow, a calf anymore, does he? What a big and strong bull. All the other bulls had grown up with him in the same pasture. They would fight each other all day. They would butt each other and stick each other with their horns. What they wanted most of all was to be picked to fight at the bullfights in Madrid. But not Ferdinand. He still liked to sit just quietly under the cork tree and smell the flowers. One day, 5 men came in very funny hats to pick the biggest, fiercest, roughest bull to fight in the bullfights in Madrid. All the other bulls ran around snorting and butting, leaping and jumping so the men would think that they were very strong and fierce and pick them. They wanted to be in the bullfight, didn't they? Ferdinand knew they wouldn't pick him, and he didn't care. So he went to his favorite cork tree and sit down. He likes that cork tree, doesn't he? He didn't look where he was sitting, and instead of sitting on the nice cool grass in the shade, he sat on a, can you tell what he's sitting on there? He's sitting on a bumblebee. Well, if you were a bumblebee and a bull sat on you, what would you do? You would sting him. And that's just what that bee did to Ferdinand. Oh, look at his face. My goodness, he looks surprised, doesn't he? He thought he was sitting in the nice cool grass, and instead he sat on a bumblebee. Wow, did it hurt? Ferdinand jumped up with a snort. He ran around puffing and snorting, butting and pawing the ground as if he were crazy. Well, the 5 men saw him, and they all shouted with joy. Here was the largest and fiercest bull of all, just the one for the bullfights in Madrid. He does look fierce, doesn't he? So they took him away for the bullfight in a cart. Oh, there he is in the cart, riding along. And what a day it was. Flags were flying, bands were playing, and all the lovely ladies had flowers in their hair. They had a parade into the bull ring. First came the bandoleros. I'm going to say that again. First came the bandoleros with long, sharp pins with ribbons on them to stick into the bull and make him mad. Next came the picadores, who rode skinny horses, and they had long spears to stick in the bull and make him even madder. This does not look like it's going to be very fun for Ferdinand, does it? And then came the matador, the proudest of all. He thought he was very handsome, and he bowed to all the ladies. He had a red cape and a sword, and he was supposed to stick the bull last of all. And then, last of all, came the bull. And you know who that was, don't you? Ferdinand. Wow. They called him Ferdinand the Fierce, and all the bandoleros, I need to say that again, let me try it again. They called him Ferdinand the Fierce, and all the bandoleros were afraid of him, and the picadores were afraid of him, and the matador was scaredest of all. Ferdinand ran to the middle of the ring, and everyone shouted and clapped because they thought he was going to fight fiercely and butt and snort and stick his horns around. But not Ferdinand. When he got to the middle of the ring, he saw the flowers and all the lovely ladies' hair, and he just sat down quietly and smelled. He wouldn't fight and be fierce no matter what they did. He just sat and smelled. And the bandoleros were mad, and the picadores were still madder, and the matador was so mad he cried that he couldn't show off with his cape and sword. So they had to take Ferdinand home. And for all I know, he is sitting there still, under his favorite cork tree, smelling the flowers just quietly. And he is very happy. The end. And that is a story about a crowd who was cheering for a bull that they thought would fight, and instead the bull had something else in mind. I think that when the crowd was shouting for Jesus, shouting, Hosanna, Hosanna, they wanted someone fierce and strong like a soldier to rescue them. But Jesus thought instead we needed to know what love looked like. And he washed his disciples' feet, and he ate a meal with them, and he showed them what love looked like when he even went to the cross and died. And it's just an amazing story. I'm so thankful for Jesus who shows us what love is like and what God's love is like. And I'm so thankful for you in the ways that even at home you're showing people how God's love is like. And and you're showing people how God helps us even at home. I'm so thankful for you. Thank you for watching today. I'm glad to be your pastor. I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye. Love you.